speed run. I control the bugs 565. Once again, proving that d4 is always the best option as white. And we'll see. We'll see how he wants to handle this, the Horowitz defense. So we could actually transpose this into a French after e4. Normally I play c4, but anytime in our rapport where we can play d4 and e4, we actually should take that opportunity. And we end up in the French variation. Very rare for d4 openings, but when you can get e4, I like to take it here. He's playing the Franco-Sicilian defense. So notice this idea is simply it's a wing attack. So if I go ahead and take on c5, the bishop takes back, and now he's eyeing down our f2 square, right? Though I believe that pushing d5 here is the correct move, and we're just not better just yet. But this past d pawn, we're gonna end up in an ISO d pawn situation. Possibly end up in an ISO d pawn situation. We'll see. But my position's open. Bishop will probably come out. I'm thinking normal development principles will still make sense. So we'll get the knight on c3, the knight on f3. Interesting. What do I want to do with this bishop? We'll take here. And after the pawn takes back, he has a serious structural deficiency here. And what I like about that take is that after knight to c3, he has no way of actually pressuring this knight. And it's going to be quite the powerhouse in this position. Did he overdevelop the c4 pawn? Is my next question. Yeah, he did. He definitely overdeveloped the c. So this pawn, I think I could win it instantly by playing this to check. Oh, be careful though. So notice that yes, this check does come with a fork on the pawn, but he could actually trade off queens here. I don't love that. I do not love that. Continue with development, and after he tries that, okay, he does not try it. Things are a little different now. Now he no longer threatens that particular check. So I think I can win this pawn. I just have to decide if I want to or not. Do I want to defend the pawn, or do I want to castle short and play this in a very more conservative manner? Or does bishop d2 make sense? Because now I'm lasering down on that queen. I want to think about this for a second. I want to make sure that I have all my options together, all my ducks in a row. Yeah, let's win some material. Let's just win some material. And keep in mind that, yeah, okay. So this is something that I had a feeling was playable. Yes, the pawn on c4 is available, but he blocked with the bishop. He didn't play king to d8, which I see as a better move. Because he blocked the bishop, I can actually push that overdeveloped pawn, and it's officially justified in its position. He cannot save that bishop, and he can't develop the knight either because it's main one, right? Like if he was to play the natural development move, knight f6, I simply just laser down the bishop, and it's game over, checkmate. So we'll see what he plays here. This also opens up the light square diagonals. This rook is very weak. Castling is still on my radar, but it doesn't have to be the move I play. So by playing such a consistent opening structure, I find at least that you'll be in a kind of situation more often than not where you're familiar. What do I want to play here? Do I want to add even more pressure to the bishop? No, it doesn't necessarily work. Okay, so pawn takes is interesting. And then what is castle first? I don't feel like I'm in necessarily a rush to take this bishop. I'm still because every second I don't take this bishop is another move the knight can't develop, by the way. Keep that in mind. So so he actually can't develop this knight. He can't do it. Okay, here's another mistake on the board for the record. This pawn I can take with the bishop, I believe. I think I can take with the bishop here. And then if he plays this, I mean, do I need to take with the bishop? Bishop takes. Or do I want to play something like this? I'm gonna layer up the pressure. No, he has done nothing to disable my pawn on d6. I'm not in a rush to take this bishop. I'm just gonna go ahead and develop another piece into the action. And like I said, guys, I'm delaying this take because this knight is the only thing defending checkmate. And he needs to develop that knight. If I take with the pawn, knight takes on e7, and it's a little less brutal. So yeah, that's why I'm hesitant to take the bishop. I'm waiting for him to do something where the bishop isn't where my pawn on d6 is in trouble. I'm waiting for him to threaten the d6 pawn. So he's developing the bishop. What of the queen? What do I do in this situation? I mean, development still doesn't work. So bishop takes here, and if bishop takes, pawn takes. I guess I am opening myself up to tactics here. What if knight takes then? Does knight takes work, and then pawn, and then what? No, maybe even knight d4. Knight d4. I don't know about this one. Knight d4, and the bishop and queen could create an attack on g3. I want to keep cooking with pressure here. Maybe knight d4. Maybe knight d4, and then the queen isn't so quick to get onto this diagonal. This would be covered. This would be covered. This would be covered by the queen. Let's go ahead and attack the queen and try to pressure him a bit. And yeah, okay. So there you go. Queen Queen e5. It defends the knight, it defends the pawn, and even after the queen takes, the rook still actually maintains that pressure on the bishop. And this is a big mistake. So what I want you to note here is for the same reason that that pawn couldn't be taken to begin with, is the same reason why I can actually play queen to d6, and the bishop cannot take back. He is pinned by the rook. And my next move now, the dubious knight d4, becomes a little less dubious because he's coming to f5. f5 is next. And for the record, it is still impossible to move the knight because it's still checkmate. So this knight has been held hostage the entire game, which is a fun little caveat. We've basically pinned this knight without pinning it. He cannot move. I would probably play like king d8 maybe. And maybe I would just, I don't know, what would I do? After king d8, maybe I just play queen e5. Yeah, he's still ignoring this threat. Um, we're gonna finish him off here with knight to f5. I'm expecting that he puts the rook here, but it won't work because rook takes and then queen takes. Right. I mean, that should be made. The extra pressure is unbelievable. Even when been sitting on this, but Bishop G5 would just add even more pressure to this position. Could be a completely devastating attack here. Um, it's fun, that's for sure. There's also smothered mate tactics available. I'm noticing. He does play it that way. So, I suppose rook takes, and that's gotta be mate. So rook takes. The knight cannot take back, and if the king goes here, I have check. Yep, and that is game. Checkmate.